but it's good timing here, so I'm starting my everesting of Mount Cheaha from the west, and this bottom part, this is what's going to make it a little bit easier than Carl Daly, because it rolls, so you get just a little bit of climbing on the way back down, and some extra climbing on the way up. This next little section here is definitely the steepest section of the lower part of the climb, and on the whole climb, I don't think so. I think the one-way road at the top, you know, past the hotel, is where it gets I think that's the steepest section. I'll keep an eye on it though. Definitely know by the morning. So 23 repeats, starting just past noon at a parking area for the Pinhoti Trail, and there's no sign saying no overnight parking or permit required or anything. It's just so rare, so awesome. Anyway, just a little background about Cheaha. It is the highest point in Alabama, 2,407 feet at the top, and yeah, right here, already at 12%, but I think it does kick up close to 15. Gosh, this may be 15 too. So I don't know, this could be the steepest part of the whole climb. I was kind of freezing there by the car. The temperature's in the mid-40s. That sun is really warm though. So now that I'm up and in the sun and moving and climbing, really getting quite warm, quite warm. But I think we're near the high temperature for the day. It should maybe get a few degrees higher in the next couple hours, and then it'll start to tail off. And it is going to be cold. I brought my deep winter stuff, even though the low tonight for here is probably only going to be in the upper 20s. It's going to feel a lot colder. It's a long descent. The segment I'm everesting is 4.5 miles, 1,299 feet. So I'm going to go ahead and do 23 laps, but that will probably be 31,000 feet, 30 to 31,000, somewhere in there, because of these rollers here. And when you're coming back down, you get some free climbing. There's when you turn around, come the other way, look at this drop. That'll count as, I don't know, it looks like maybe 21, 28 feet coming back this way. But anyway, it doesn't matter though, just the raw vertical depth, 23 is well over everesting. Just raw vertical depth. So, if I hit 23 laps, it should be good to go. Now the question is, if I only do 22, because I'm like way over, that's where it gets a little iffy. According to the official everesting rules, that should count. So if I have time, I'll definitely do 23, but if it's just taking me forever, then I may only end up doing 22 laps. To put that in perspective, Carl Daly was 2.2 miles long. This is roughly twice as long, but it climbs almost 3 times as much. So 2.5 times, maybe 2.75 times as much as Carl Daly. So what does that mean? It means it's going to be not only less repeats overall, probably about 50 miles less riding. Still should be around 200 miles. So one of the things that should help that is this descent is very straight, pretty steep, very fast. So that should help my overall speed. Even at night, should be fine. The only real worry would be deer, but it's not crazy steep. Probably hit, unless I get some nice downdraft at some point, probably max out in the upper 40s. Average descent will probably max out at lower 40s to mid 40s, but the average speed for the whole descent from the top should be well over 30 miles an hour, including the being careful at the top inside the park and you know, just wanting to be courteous. I don't think there's going to be too many people. It's Christmas Day, so not sure what that means for Mount Cheaha. I've never been up here on Christmas before. There's a hotel and cabins and camping, so I don't know how many people might have chosen to have a Christmas up here on top of Cheaha. Or there's also a restaurant, so I don't know if they're going to be open for like a Christmas dinner or event, wedding, who knows. In any case, I'll be courteous. I don't want to get in trouble, and also because that's who I am. I'm not gonna just blaze through there thinking I'm, you know, because I'm doing this thing, it gives me the right or something like that, crazy like that. No, that's not me at all. So this is, I believe, a newer section of road. This is the old road, and this is the way I drove in from Talladega. So if I was riding home from Birmingham, I'd be coming down from the top of the mountain and making a right. But thankfully there's no stop sign there. I'm coming back down, so it's surprisingly, wow, yeah, this is probably not quite the halfway point in the climb. Distance-wise, vertically 600 feet. Vertically, we're almost to halfway, probably by that bend up there. You know, and that could be the distance halfway too, by the time we get up to that bend. This is really interesting part of the climb. There's a huge amount of rockfall here. It makes it feel like a volcano. I don't know, maybe years and years ago, maybe it was, but I feel like it's more likely there's a very sharp ridge line at the top with cliffs, and just over long time landslides and all that have deposited rocks on just this section though. The other side of the mountain looks nothing like this. And then on the Cheaha Road off to my left here, there's a very well-defined path. And once you make it past that, there's no more rocks. So anyway, that's what gives it a feel of like a lava flow or something, which is very important because the pictures I'm going to be posting to Instagram are all the way up to 6,000 meters. Will stay in the Americas. Going to start out in Nicaragua, then go up to the Nicaragua-Honduras border, and then up to Guatemala, climbing the highest point there, Tahupoco. That tops out at 5,000 meters, a little bit over. So you have to go over to that tops out at 4,100 meters. So that'll be my 3,000 meter and 4,000 meter posts. My 5,000 meter post will be in Mexico, the large volcano, not too far outside of Mexico City. The really large volcano there, highest point in Mexico. That goes up to 5,000 meters, and then to get to 6,000 meters, down in South America, Acun, the highest point in South America, Aconcagua, or Aconcagua, something like that. Then of course, I kind of knew it, but I was hoping that there was actually like a 7,000 meter peak in South America, but it comes up short, just short, and so I have to go over to Asia. There's nothing in Europe, nothing in Africa, and of course nothing in the Americas, even close. So the it's a perfect day for this. This is in the shade. I'm on the north side of the mountain. This stretch will be cool, but I'll be baking from the bottom part. Temperature's probably up here is probably not going to make it out of the 40s, even though the high's supposed to be in the low 50s. That's not going to happen. Anyway, so over to Asia, we're at K2 for 7,000, 8,000. Actually, something special there on K2, save that for later. That will definitely not make it into the video. I am taking the video camera off probably 5 hours in, and then putting my light on in its place. That'll be an extended, kind of like a dinner stop. Back at the car. Let me think. Anyway, so something special with K2, and then of course the summit. There's only one Everest, so I found a different summit picture. My pictures this time, and most of them last time, I wasn't quite as careful last time, but all of these pictures are all Creative Commons licensed. So if you're ever looking for that, just go to Flickr. You can search by license type, select Creative Commons, and there are some amazing pictures that you can use for free. Most of them are for non-commercial use. This, of course, is not commercial at all. Blue. Good to go there. Yeah, this is the Carl Daly part of the climb, and even here, this is like the steeper parts of Carl. But when I do this climb, I think, man, nothing compared to what I normally climb in Birmingham, you know, doing 15+% climbs as much as possible, just because they're there, and they just make riding so much fun, especially the descents. One last thing before I shut up here. I just noticed on Facebook, as I was looking up a link I had sent of this segment, they did my urine review, and I didn't post it. Felt like I needed to think more about it, but right there in that picture was my accident from April, where I ran into a car in South Cove, and you know, the picture is me in the hospital right after the accident, with blood all over my head, neck, face. Anyway, so no matter what happens, success or failure today, tonight, into the morning, super thankful to be alive. Super thankful to Christine and all of my friends. The K-Well Christmas card, one of my colleagues and friends, Greg K-Well from Stanford, he was at the hospital all night since Christine was flying from California back after the accident. But Christine was, so Greg spent the night with me, and Christine was really delayed because there was tornadoes in Birmingham that night, and sirens just kept on going off, and they closed the airport for a while. But she made it in early morning, 2, 3 in the morning, maybe, something like that, and very grateful for the K-Wells. But anyway, that was significant in his life as well. That made it into their Christmas card, because that definitely turned the spring upside down. He and my other colleague, Steve Donaldson, covered my classes. Really grateful for that. Anyway, this video is already really long. This climb is this is gonna go by so fast. Now by the end, I mean, I'll be tired and what seems incredibly easy right now, 225 watts. I would not be able to push more than about 150, 175 efficient reserve well. Although this one might be fast enough that I'm not quite that tired. Optimistically, 14 hours. Pessimistically, 16. But we're almost to the park entrance, and this is all part of the state park. The only part you really have to pay for is here on the left. And I'm going to find the right time to do that. And it might be this first lap. I have my money here. But a lot of times it's just honor box stuff. So I might wait until later when there's somebody actually there. Happen to run into somebody, and much easier than filling out a form and all that stuff. So far it's looking pretty deserted. State park cars are all over in the shed, so there's no workers here, not very many. I have seen a few cars around. That's a car in the middle of the road right there. So there are definitely people up driving through here. I'm just hoping the campground and the hotel are mostly deserted so that when I'm coming through 1, 2, 3 in the morning with my lights on, I'm not bothering anybody, especially the campers, because I have to go right through where they camp, and I will be quiet and everything, but it is a bright light. Wow, this door might even be open. I have more than enough though in the car. So, real excited about the cheaha and Fondo Ultra. The very first cheaha challenge I will actually come all the way up here to the high point of the state. There's no one in there. Well, at some point I've got a $10 bill. I'd rather not be 10 whole dollars. So at some point I'm hoping to run into somebody. One person at the hotel. Not bad at all. Yeah, this place is going to be really deserted. So, yeah, this is only 10% here, 9%. So I'm wrong. That bottom part at 13% is the steepest part. This part just feels steeper normally because you're 100 miles into a ride or 70 miles into a ride, and you're way into the top of a climb. So those two things together make this feel much steeper than it actually is. I don't know though, we'll keep an eye on it. Right around 10%. Definitely steeper than most of the roads, most of the 281 parts of the climb from the east. Yeah, just kick up there around that turn. And of course in the switchback to get to the very top, there might be a very short 15% section. So short though, you almost wouldn't want to count that as the steepest part of the climb. But I'll suggest it. If we do this on the way out and the way back, yeah, the Ultra, wow, that is going to be epic. Shout out to Travis Sherman, who, I did the cheaha challenge in college, and at some point in college, he mentioned that, you know, the high point of the climb was actually here. I just imagined it was back down there, where you kind of knew that it went up, but I didn't think it was very significant. But it is nearly 400 feet from the, maybe 300, from the park entrance up to the top here. Oh, and as far as the everesting, I cannot believe there's actually something here in Alabama that fits this rule, but this is a one-way road here, so very rare in Alabama. So I will come down, making a tiny little lap up here on the other one-way road coming back down. This is a bit too long, too dangerous, although there's nobody up here to come back down. I just don't see any point in it though, because there's a exactly parallel road to this, one way the other way, you know, not even a tenth of a mile to my left. Wow, and it's super clear up here, which does not happen very often. My friend Justin Lowe just did a big 150-mile ride that came up through here, very wet, very foggy up here, so that means he did not get to appreciate the view up here. So I'll try and remember to put a bookmark into the video, send him the link so that he can see some of the view when it's clear. Yeah, I'm up to 13:15, and interestingly, my Garmin 1000 is reading more than my 800, so you tend to find that in a pure climb because the 800 is more sensitive to changes in pressure. So if the atmospheric pressure is let's say higher up here, due to higher, or relatively, because of the height it should be lower, but if it hasn't lowered exactly along with the height, then it'll appear that this is not quite as tall. 1000 is not as susceptible to that, so you get the full climb. But usually the 800, because it is a little bit more sensitive to pressure, you know, the 800 picks up the smaller rollers. So over the course of the night, 800 will catch up and pass this because it'll register more climbing on those rollers at the bottom. I figured it would have done that as well already, so that does surprise me, but pretty sure it will catch back up to the 1000 at some point. Alright, I'm not going to bother taking a picture right now because I'm sure at some point one of my milestones will be up here near the sign, and I would get a picture of the sign at that point. But there's a sign on the right, Alabama's highest point, Cheaha State Park, elevation 2407. So, that was the climb. This is the descent.